So the question is it wrong to perform goal-oriented activities for professional and material growth as per yoga philosophy? Will I be considered as selfish or greedy? First, I would like to request MSc students, if they are there, to share their views, or anybody else. Yes, please. Okay, let me unmute. Yes.
Sir, so to perform goal-oriented activities
Yes.
for professional and material growth, as far as yoga philosophy. So the goal-oriented activities is we fix a goal to succeed, and that goal has to be achieved step by step. So to gain the material growth in philosophical or yoga philosophy with the justice and within the dharma. Within the dharma, we have to do that activities. At the same time, we have to get the material growth. So such type of activities you have to choose and develop, and that, and later it should be not only that should be utilized for your growth also, and can be given to the others also. Maybe some percentage of your growth material gain you can distribute to the needy people. So if you do such activities, it will be very good as far as the yoga philosophy is concerned.
Okay, okay. So Dr. Gandhi says that you will not be considered as selfish or greedy if you perform it with your dharma, and also if you give some percentage of the growth that you achieve back to society. Wonderful. Students, would you like to say anything?
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
similar to what Dr. Gandhi said, it
Yeah.
is not wrong to perform goal-oriented activities, because everyone in this life has different types of swadharma, which Krishna describes in Gita. And swadharma can be from all aspects of life, which is the homely swadharma, the work swadharma, etc. So Krishna also says that not performing your swadharma and trying to copy someone else's is a sin, or trying to avoid your swadharma is a sin. So performing a goal-oriented swadharma which does not hurt anyone in the process, which is morally clear, is not greedy or selfish.
Okay. So Soumya, is very clear. She says that it should not hurt anybody and it should be according to your swadharma. Then if you're doing it for yourself, your growth, it is not greed. Any other student want to share any views?
Sir, goal-oriented activities for professional growth is necessary without being selfish. And that's what we have to not be attached to the whatever we get, fruits out of it. But goal-oriented is necessary to improve oneself in every situation, in every professional. We have to deal with every step and go up and up without gaining more attached to the fruits. And material growth is up to the it's up to the nature to give us.
Okay, Hemlata ji, there are some people in the chat, they have put that, yes, you will be considered as greedy. So here, it is little contradictory. I am doing a goal-oriented thing to achieve success, so how do I orient myself without looking for success and not look at the fruits when I am doing an activity only towards that fruit? So this is little confusing. Okay, let us listen from others. Srinath ji.
It is not at all wrong to perform goal-oriented activities for professional and material growth as per yoga philosophy. The only thing which we need to do is not to do any wrong deeds intentionally. If it is unintentional and you do get into doing wrong, nothing. It doesn't make much impact. But if there is an intent that you want to earn a lot of money through unfair means, you want to cheat, you want to deceive, you want to rob someone as a goal-oriented activity, then it's going to be lethal. It's not at all selfish or greedy. The basic premise for any activity someone has to do is the intent. And once the intent is correct, there's nothing wrong. Thank you.
Okay. So Srinath ji brings in the point that the intention is very important, and if intention is good, even if you are doing for yourself, you are earning more money and fulfilling all your material growth, there is nothing wrong in that. Hemalata ji, would you want to share your views? Or anybody else who differ from them? Okay, so I'm not getting any responses. So let us ask this question to Krishna and see what we get from Bhagavad Gita. So, the 18th chapter, Krishna is trying to summarize things, before he tells Arjuna, Yathechasi tatha kuru, do as you wish, but let me give you once again a brief summary of the very essence of what I have taught you. So he says, Jnanam yeyam parijnata trividha karma cha udana karanam karma karteti trividaha karma sangraha. Very beautifully, very scientifically, Krishna is telling here that, oh Arjuna, whatever action that a human being does, he requires these 6 instruments, the 3 instruments of cognition and 3 instruments of action. In cognition, there is jnanam, nyayam, parigyata. There is knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. These 3 things make me decide what kind of action I am doing. I perceive something, okay, this is the degree that I want to do. Then I prepare for that entrance based on the information that I want to do this. So I receive a knowledge, there is an object of knowledge, and there is a knower. After deciding that, I decide that, okay, I am going to give a drop year for 1 year. I am not going to do anything else. I am going to prepare for this entrance. So my action is motivated by what information I receive, how I process it, and then the knower, what he decides. This is one aspect. Second is, based on that information, karanam karma karteti, the instrument of action. Pancha jnanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. These are all 13 karanas. These are the instrument through which the action is done. And then the act of doing it itself, kriya, and then there is a doer. So there is a knower, there is a doer. The knower gets the information, the doer does it into action. Okay. Then Krishna says that this jnana, knowledge that we receive, the karma that we do, and the doer, they can be considered as of 3 types. So they are based on the 3 gunas. They are of 3 types. I request all of you to be very attentive, because this is very important when Krishna describes 3 types of jnana: sattvic jnana, rajasic jnana, and tamasic jnana, 3 types of karmas, and 3 types of doers. So the first one, he says, what is the sattvic jnana, the knowledge that will motivate me towards a sattvic action? Sarva bhuteshu yen aikam bhavam avyayam ikshate. That knowledge by which a person sees one undivided, imperishable reality within all diverse living beings. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu taj jnanam vidhi sattvikam. Sattvic knowledge is where I do not consider myself as a separate entity of this universe. I consider one living entity which is there inside everybody. And then that forms the very basis of all the action that I do. And that forms the basis of what kind of goal I will have and what kind of success I will achieve. So now here, in sattvic action, it is the person, for him, giving helping others is a way where he understands his growth. Probably, here the question is about our own growth. So are we clear about who we are? Are we missing a law where my growth is connected to the growth of people around me? The more I give, the more I get. Is there a law like that which I am missing? So this is something which a sattvic mind does. Second, पृथक्त्वेन tu yajnanam nana bhavan pratagvidan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tadjnanam vidhi rajasam. Whereas in the rajasic knowledge, one sees manifold living entities as separate. He is separate, she is separate, that is separate, I am separate. And therefore they are not connected. I as an entity is a separate entity in this universe, and I have to nourish and grow only myself. So I have to take care of only me. Yeah, I will not do any wrong, I will not hurt anybody, but my whole growth, my whole attention is I should get what I want. This knowledge, nothing right or wrong, this has been grouped under Rajasic. Third, yattu krishna vedakam asmin karye saktam ahaitukam atatvartham adalpam cha tat tamasam udaharatam. So the tamas knowledge is where the whole concept is not understood properly. Only a fragment of the concept is taken, and one gets deluded by that and thinks that he has understood everything. And it neither has a proper ground for reason, nor is it based on the truth, but person becomes fanatic about it. You have seen people, they will take a verse from the scriptures and they will become destructive about that. So taking a fragmental knowledge, and having an inflexible cognition and not getting moved by any proper reasoning, even if the proper reasoning is given, one does not move, because he just holds on to one fragmental concept. This happens, there was a dark age of Vedas where when Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtya, I made the 4 Varnas, only people took up only that part. Later on, whatever he spoke about Swadharma, nobody understood, So then people started creating discrimination within various castes, and whatever reason was given, they were not. So this is all tamasic. At the same time, we see this jihad, that comes from Quran. So that also has been completely misunderstood and has become destructive. So these are all the tamasic knowledge. Then what are the 3 kinds of, we can say, the karmas? How? I have a knowledge of sattva where I see one undivided entity in all the beings. So what kind of action do I do when I have that knowledge base? Niyatam. I will do activity always according to the scriptures. I will never give up yajna, dana, and tapa. And then sangarahitam, without attachment, aragadveshatah kritam. My action will not be driven by the force of raga, that is too much of attachment, or too much of aversion. And afala prepsuna karma, done without the desire for any reward or any recognition. It will be done because there is one entity in all the beings and I am serving that entity. And therefore I will not run away from my duties. With this motivation and with this cognition, this karma is done, which is known as sattvic karma. How is the rajasic karma done? Where the knowledge base is that I am separate, you are separate. Yattu kame suna karma sa ahankarena va punaha. Done by a selfish desire. No, you are not harming anybody, but the desire is entirely for yourself. And interacted with a strong sense of I-ness. Yes, I am going to do it. I am going to achieve it. Kriyate bahulayasam. It is full of stress. Naturally, it will be full of stress. No, you want the goal at any cost. And bahulayasam also means that it creates a lot of exhaustion after completing the action. You do the activity with very strong sense of I-ness. You are very much involved, very intense. It creates a lot of heaviness in your system, intensity in your prana. And once the action is done, you feel a big relief. Oh, finally done. That kind of action is rajasic action. Then tamasic action. a kind of a knowledge base where person has got fragmented, deluded knowledge. Anubandham kshayam himsam. Whatever the person has done for me, I will not be able to understand the anubandha, the runa that I carry. Kshayam, how much damage it is going to bring, himsa it is going to bring, I will not pay an attention to. Anapekshacha paurusham, even I will not be able to become aware of my own ability. Mohadarabhyate karma, starting the action based on some deluded kind of a thinking which he thinks that is perfect. I am going to do everything in this life for going to Satyuga, to going to some other yuga. Person gives up the duties in this very life, So those are the mohas, some deluded concept, disregarding the consequences, loss, and injury to others. All these kind of actions have been characterized under tamasic actions. Mukta sango na ahamvadi. And then who are the kartas? Karta means the doer. What kind of doer is a sattvic doer? Mukta sango na ahamvadi. He never considered that he is the doer. It's the forces of nature which are working, but he will always maintain dhriti utsaha samanvitaha, never endowed with lack of enthusiasm or determination, always working towards the goodness of everybody. Siddhi asiddhi nirvikaraha. Whether in that effort he fails or wins, it doesn't matter. Okay? So a expanded version of living your life, contributing to universal well-being like the sun does, like the Ganges does, like the air does, person remains useful to everybody who is around him without any attachment and aversion, without any, attachment to success or failure. That kind of doer is sattvic. Ragi karma phalapepsuhu lubdho. Whereas those in the mode of passion, raga, they always work toward the fruit of the action, and fundamentally the emotion that drives them is greed for success. And in that it is possible that they adopt violent means and impure, moved by joy and sorrow. Depends on how strongly you want success. So there is very thin line, and directly or indirectly person crosses that line because the attachment to the fruit is very strong. So ultimately, very strong harsha, too much of excitement when it comes, shoka, too much of depression when it doesn't come. All the people when we see, they prepare too hard and they do not get it, they commit suicide. So this is the kind of a, the two extremes that a rajasic mind dwells. Whereas ayuktah prakritah stabdah shatho naishkruto alasah vishadhi dirghasutri. How is the tamasic doer? Undisciplined, never reaching in time for anything, always late, impolite, not giving proper respect where it is to be given, not showing gratitude to people who have given something, not acknowledging support in their growth, stubborn, deceitful, taking means of telling a lie, slothful, always discouraged, and discouraging others also in fulfilling their duty, procrastinator, dirghasutri, always putting it to tomorrow. These are the characteristic of a tamasic doer. Now, these are the three categories. Nothing is good, nothing is bad, but every action has a consequence. So if you choose a particular mode, you should be ready to accept the consequences. Okay? So what does Krishna say? Urdhvam gacchanti sattvasthaha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya gunavrittisthaha adho gacchanti tamasa. People who are in the sattvic mode of knowledge, doership, and action, they rise up. Those in the mode of passion, rajasaha, they remain where they are. They neither go up nor go down. Whereas people who have got into the loop of heinous tamasic activities, they get into a downward spiral. Now, what is this moving up, remaining in middle and going down? What does it mean? Yada sattve pravruddhe tu pralayam yati dehabhrit. Those who die with predominance of sattva in their life reach the pure abodes of the learned. So ultimately, He's talking about the last thing, but ultimately the action, even in this very life, those who do sattvic activities, they get in company with more sattvic people and they guide them further in the path of their life. Whereas those who die with prevalence of rajas are born among people driven by work. Whereas those who are rajasic, they are attracted to more rajasic people and their speed increases more and more and more. While those dying in the mode of ignorance, mood yoni shujayate is, Krishna is very strong here. He is telling tamasic people, they will not even get a human body. He is clear. He says that they go to animal kingdom. Now you have to do struggle to get the human birth again. Karmanah sukritah syahu satvikam. What is the phala of these karmas? It is said that those who perform action in a sattvic mode, the result they get is pure. Nirmalam phalam. It means that the inner knowledge which is hidden within the depth of the heart is revealed to a sattvic person. Without any kind of effort, he keeps on doing sattvic activities. He starts getting insights into the secrets of life from within him, and that knowledge gives him peace. Whereas action done in the mode of passion, ultimate phala is dukkha. Ultimately, you will be frustrated. Why so? I have a goal. I did a lot of effort to achieve it. I did not harm anybody. If I am achieving it, why will it lead to dukkha? Dear friends, it will lead to dukkha because you are in a rajasic mode, and it will not be possible for you to stop yourself when you achieve that goal. As soon as you achieve that goal, your gunas will create another goal for you. You will have very, very small amount of time where you will actually enjoy what you tried to achieve through a goal-oriented activity. Ultimately, whatever actions we do, whatever we want, we think that when we achieve it, we will be at peace. But people in Rajasic mode will not be able to stop themselves there. They will want something else, something more, and again get themselves into the driving wheel. So the problem is ultimately it leads to frustration. People in Rajasic mode are not slow enough to even enjoy what they have achieved. Therefore, they mostly remain frustrated, and that too when you achieve what you want. When you don't achieve, you will get depressed. Okay, so there are high chances that people in the Rajasic mode ultimately end up in frustration, and those are in the tamasic mode of action, the result itself is more and more covering of the inner knowledge and more deluded kind of thinking. They get into greater and greater darkness. So, dear friends, I request all of you to please contemplate on these thoughts. Decide for yourself which mode of action you want to stay in and you want to do. Again, I would like to repeat, there is nothing right or wrong, but Krishna is very clear about the consequences of these actions. If you choose a mode, you should be ready to face the consequences. So this is what I would like to say. So the answer is, according to yoga philosophy, performing a goal-oriented activity only for one's own personal growth and material comfort is considered as greediness because it comes from Rajoguna, and Rajoguna fundamentally has a nature of greed, as Krishna said, and people like this think that they are surviving only because of themselves. The air that you breathe comes from trees. The water that you take comes from rivers. The sunlight that you take comes from the sun. There are so many forces of nature which are governing you this life. And Krishna is very blunt here. He thinks that people who think that they are only the achiever and they will only have the bhoga of their achievements, they are actually thieves. They are actually thieves, very ungrateful to the forces of nature, and ultimately these people suffer. Okay, so please think about it and direct your life accordingly. Namaskar. Thank you.
Sir,
Good.
I have got a doubt. So people, we go for America and Western countries to gain the material world. So, whereas in India, we cannot achieve such a material world. Only in America, anybody who goes there will achieve a material world. So a poor man who goes without any education also can do business and become a big man. So there are incidents where a banana cart person has become a pyramid of his own effort to largest banking system of Bank of
Gandhi
America.
sir, what is your
And
question? Please come back to the question.
sir, the material to gain, that is what is called as Rajasic Guna, the people go to the America or Western countries to gain that material. They get material also. And not only they get material, they become tamasic, or they become sattvic also. After gaining that material, they will start turning towards the yoga or philosophy, or go to even Tibetan countries and
Sir,
gain
you are
the
asking very
fullness
generalized
also.
thing, Gandhi sir. Please, do not talk generalize. Ask your own question, please. We have limited time here, sir.
Yes, yes.
So
No,
I do
for
not see any proper question in your elaborate discussion. Anybody, any other question?
Yes, sir. Good morning. So I'm saying whenever we are following, say, Sattvic Guna, as you said. So one incident happened with me, like suppose a new team mate entered in my team. And the difficulties which I faced when I entered the team. So I thought that that person should not face. So I gave him all the help, and I am not sure because of some confusion or many misunderstanding. He is, thinking that I have not helped him, and kind of things, get into that negative direction. So sometimes I face these consequences, when I try to help others, but it is sometimes it is going in negative direction. So, sir, can you please guide me in this, like whether I'm doing right or wrong, or when I should, help?
Yes, madam. The question that you are asking it from the Rajasic mode of knowledge. You think that you are separate, the person that you are helping is separate, and the other team members are separate. But if you get into Sattvic mode of action, there is one entity which is there in the team. There is the same entity within you also. There is that entity in the new person who has joined your team also. So you are helping that entity in one way. That entity is not responding in that direction, but from the other teammates, that entity is responding to you. So you should not feel disheartened by only one person. This happens in us, no? When one support is removed, we think that, oh my God, I am suffering, but we do not see that from so many directions, so many supports keep coming. So when there is only one entity all around, then we will not, we will not suffer like this. We will not be having this kind of a dukkha. Dukkha is coming because there is a Rajasic kind of a mindset where I am separate, he is separate, he is not responding, she is responding. There is only one entity in everybody's heart, and I am doing action only for that entity. I do not care whether people respond or not. That success and failure is not my cup of tea. My karma is I will serve that entity in all the living beings. So with that attitude, just do your karma. Whatever that comes back is okay, is okay. But make sure that you are in the sattvic mode of knowledge when you do those activities.
Okay, sir. Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
sir, when you do in a Rajasic with a strong I-ness, that I should achieve the goal, should they achieve the goal, like that, they will be there. But it becomes habitual, and you will not come to the Sattvic, sir. You will be remain in only in Rajasic only, because it become what is known as habitual. How to
Yes, that is what
overcome
I
to
said.
come to Sattvic, sir?
Yes. So sattvic, if he has to come, then he has to do more and more activities without taking any credit. His name should not come. He should become anonymous and start giving. By doing such activities, slowly a Rajasic person can move towards Sattvic. Okay?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, namaste, sir. Shashi, sir.
Sir, I would like to share my experience.
Please, please.
At times, we are fearful in our mind, in depth of hearts, that a patient is very sick, it may not get well. But when your intention is pure and your only aim is to help the person, help the child, then some third force comes into play and that child gets well.
Very beautiful, sir.
This I'm observing for the last many years. And even I talked to one of my best doctors in my city, Dr. R.S. Parmar, he's a surgeon. So he too holds the same view. At times we are afraid that we may lose this patient, and we tell him to go to higher institute. Somehow the stick, they don't go. But then somehow by the morning they are okay. So there is something, some other force which comes into play when your intentions are pure and you want to help someone. And that's how what I feel.
Very beautiful, sir. See, pediatricians, learned people like this, they acknowledge that selfless action has its own power, its own strength, because you are able to connect to the very source of this creation. So we are intelligent human beings. Having got this human birth, we should use our actions in the best possible way that we can do. So it is very, very motivating, Shashi sir, to listen from you. But at the same time, even if the patient dies or whatever that happens, we should govern our action towards that higher entity, and only one. I am serving only one who is residing in everybody's heart. If you start seeing the game in that way, then you will see that life appears much more fulfilling, much more peaceful. One support is taken, 10 supports are given. Why do we not look at those 10 people who are calling upon us? Why we only look at that one person who did not respond? This is a bias which comes from our rajas. आपके इतने सारे दोस्त थे जो आपको याद करते हैं, अगर एक दोस्त आपसे अलग हो गया तो आप इतने दुखी क्यों हो जाते हो? 10:1 का रेशो है, तो वो एक 110 से बड़ा क्यों हो जाता है? उसके मन में भी वही ईश्वर है जो आपके 10 दोस्तों के इसमें है. So the people who are behind you, who want you, also carry the same divine, and the people who run away from you also carry the same divine. But our problem is, those who love us, we ignore them, and those who do not want us, we go behind them. This is a typical Rajasic mind. Just turn back and be there with people who actually care for you, and you will see that more and more that Sattvic force will be around you. So please contemplate on this. Namaskaram to all of you. Thank you. Namaste.
Sir, over the years, I am
Yes.
experiencing a change in my thinking, with your constant inspiration and discussions. And really, we are feeling some change. And life seems to be good
That's wonderful, sir.
and purposeful.
That is what I pray for all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Lalita here. I just have one thing, sir. Now, we are dealing with different kinds of people every day. Okay, the family, outside the family. Now, when we have, though, I may be Sattvic, my family, somebody may be Rajasic or Tamasic. And it's very difficult to transform people. We can only transform ourselves. So how do we, but you cannot disconnect also, because day-to-day interactions, all that are needed. How do we deal with it? We can't disconnect also.
I know, Lalita ji, it is a very, very difficult situation. It requires a lot of strength, Lalita ji, to remain in this kind of a situation and maintain your calm and peace. So depends on the personality of the person also. Some people are, faith driven. They find it easy to believe and surrender. So for such people, constant japa, constant remembrance of God, every moment they have to remain connected to something higher. Then only they can, maintain, because it is very difficult. For a
Yes, sir.
group of people, some dedicated time to those who are Jnana Yoga, who are intellect dominant, then they should, open Bhagavad Gita and have this habit of deep contemplation where they isolate themselves from everybody, focus and completely, deeply, one-pointed attention on certain understanding that are there in Bhagavad Gita, or a habit of reading, 9 slokas of Bhagavad Gita every day. That, that grounding in the morning. Or if you are a practice-driven person, so tapaha, swadhyaya, or Ishwar pranidhana. These are the 3 ways. Some people are practice driven. So they may want to, do some pranayama, Kapalabhati, Bhastrika, Brahmari, start the day with a session. Or some people are Swadhyay driven. They want to ask this question, who is suffering? Am I the mind? Is this suffering mine or it is to my instrument? Even if people are doing, are they telling me or are they just telling this mind body complex? So how deep I want to take what they say,
Mm.
So in this way, people use Jnana Yoga. Gautam Buddha said, when people shout at me, I take it as a warm shower of energy and do not get touched by it, And if I do not take what you give, it remains with you. This is Jnana Yogi's explanation of it. Whereas a Bhakti Yogi, Swami Premananda, if you receive, he says that even Kunti said, God always keep me in dukkha, because if I am in sukha, I always forget you. So always keep people who give me pain around me so that I always remember you. So a Bhakti Yogi takes it like this. So in this way, you have to choose your own path, whether you are a Bhakti Yogin or a Raj Yogin, or you are a person who is a Jnana Yogi. So you select your own path, use yoga as your coping strategy. But fundamentally, all the path will give you one knowledge, that there is one divine entity in everybody, and you are serving only that one entity in all your actions and nobody else. Then it will have a purifying effect on you, and you will start getting deeper knowledge, which is there in you. It is there in you, but it is not opening up. It will start opening up, and that will be very empowering and fulfilling.
Okay, sir. Yeah, very, 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 very useful, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, I'll need to work harder then on myself rather than working on others.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, dear friends, see you again next week. Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you very, very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Namaskaram, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.